Joining me now, Adrian Elrod, former senior advisor to the Harris-Walz campaign, and former Florida Representative Carlos Curbelo, now an MSNBC political analyst. Hey, welcome, guys. Ladies first, Adrian. So, question, do these tariffs illustrate a difference between Trump's first and second terms? Do you get the sense that he doesn't have the voices of reason, as we call them, the grown-ups in the room, to talk him down from drastic decisions?
Well, look, I think we're certainly seeing a far more, I guess you could say, aggressive Trump when it comes to, how he's treating some of the people on the international stage. But here's the bottom line, Alex. Donald Trump on the campaign trail said he was going to enact tariffs. And guess what? He's doing it. And this is what the American people need to understand. When Donald Trump goes out there and says he's going to do something dangerous, divisive, something that's going to raise our costs, something that's going to have an adverse impact on families, he's actually going to do it. So when you see people out there saying, gosh, I just didn't think he'd enact these tariffs. I didn't think that he would actually try to, do things that will raise the cost on gasoline, on groceries, on everyday goods that I use in my life. Well, he said he was going to do it, so he did it. I actually just heard Senator Mark Warner call this the Super Bowl tax, which is a great way to put it, because when families are going into the grocery store to buy things for the Super Bowl parties they're going to have, or the things they're going to cook, immediately you're going to see a significant raise in cost for the goods that we use in our everyday lives. So this certainly doesn't surprise me. And, I think the big question is, does Trump do anything to, scale back on these tariffs when Americans start complaining because the cost of of things that they need in their life goes up?
So I'm curious to you, Carlos, basically what she just said, the latter part of her answer there. Are we going to see a backlash of the effects of these tariffs being felt, not only by the ones imposed by Trump, but also the retaliatory measures that are taken by these other countries? Is Trump prepared for that political price? Does he care? Because he's not going to run again. So.
Well, Alex, this trade and tariff issue has been a fixation for Donald Trump since the first term. I was on the Ways and Means Committee, and we were involved with renegotiating NAFTA, now called the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement. At one point, Donald Trump wanted to scrap the whole thing. He just wanted to get rid of it and not have a free trade agreement with our neighbors. Now, people around him counseled him otherwise. Those of us on the Ways and Means Committee who at the time were committed to free trade with our allies and neighbors were pretty strong about keeping that agreement. But this has always been one of his obsessions. And the problem here is that no one really knows what the plan is. Look, tariffs can be effective if you're trying to extract some kind of concession. If you have some goal, you impose some tariffs to send a message, force people to the negotiating table. But no one knows exactly what the Canadians and Mexicans need to do in order to get right with Donald Trump or to avoid this unnecessary economic peril. And look, at some point, if the inflationary pressure from these tariffs gets too strong, yes, there will be a political breaking point, because even though Donald Trump doesn't have another election, there are congressional Republicans who are likely to face some headwinds in 2026, and they don't want things to get any worse when it comes to inflation.
And Adrian, Reuters reports on a different note, aides to Elon Musk have locked out officials at the Office of Personnel Management from some computer systems which contain personal data of federal employees. These Musk allies even installed sofa beds at the headquarters. Of course, that's reminiscent of ex-offices, right? How tight a control are Trump and Musk trying to exert over these agencies, and what does that do?
Well, Alex, this is incredibly disturbing. First of all, let's keep in mind that Elon Musk is not a paid government employee. He is someone who seems to be squatting in the White House. It looks like he's got some sort of office there, but this is going to retaliate, is the bottom line. First of all, the government serves to protect the American people and to keep people safe. So if there's any risk of, people's personal data that the government may have getting out there or getting in the wrong hands of somebody like Elon Musk, then that's going to create all kinds of problems, and it's going to create some political problems for Trump, number one. Number two, we've talked a lot about, Alex, on cable news, and certainly I've talked about it among my friends. Like, when does the dam break, so to speak, between Donald Trump and Elon Musk? And I am not going to sit here and try to get into the mind of Donald Trump, But I can't imagine after a while, when complaint after complaint from the American people really starts to come out about Elon Musk's overreach and taking it too far with his volunteer role in government, this is not going to go over well, because again, the data of the American people, when it comes to their medical records, when it comes to their private data, for any of that to be even remotely compromised or to get in the wrong hands of someone, that's not going to go over well with the American people.
And Carlos, I'm concerned, or I'm asking how concerned you are about the lack of congressional oversight and transparency under Trump so far, because Republicans seem to be agreeing with many of Trump's moves, but will they be okay with being bypassed in the long term?
Well, Alex, I think here in the early going, you're going to see Republicans accommodate President Trump as much as possible. They want to try to keep the party united as much as possible. We know that Republicans have had issues with unity, especially on the House side, in recent years, and they don't want any cracks to be evident to the public for now. But again, as those midterms approach, you have a good number of Republicans in the House running in swing districts. You have a few Republican senators running in swing states. Those are the senators and representatives who are going to start sounding the alarm, who are going to start breaking from Donald Trump first. Why? Because their own political survival depends on it. So I think now the honeymoon here will last a few more weeks, maybe a few months, but then we're going to start seeing some people stand up and push back against some of Trump's agenda.
I was wondering if you were going to use the word it's a honeymoon phase, and some people have suggested that. So, Adrian, the website for USAID, it is offline, and Trump has moved to merge that agency with the State Department and foreign aid. All of that's temporarily frozen. And USAID, it provided access to clean water, HIV treatments, and a lot more. And Elon Musk is now claiming the agency is criminal. Senator Schumer said the move is illegal, but is there any mechanism to actually hold Trump accountable for these actions?
Well, first of all, the USAID, this is an incredibly effective agency that does a lot of work around the world, does a lot of work here in the United States. And a lot of what USAID does is it's effectively using soft diplomacy to protect Americans and to protect people around the world who need sort of those sorts of protections. But here's the bottom line. This is what Donald Trump does. He does things that are illegal. Chuck Schumer is exactly right. This is illegal. There's a reason why we have checks and balances in government, why we have three branches of power. This is not, he made this decision unilaterally without any congressional oversight. So it is illegal, but this is what he does. And then he lets you take it to the courts, or Congress, intervenes, but then it takes a while for anything to actually happen there because it's government. Things don't always move very fast. So I think we're just going to see more and more of this. Donald Trump told the voters of America that he was going to disrupt the system, and any voter who voted for him who didn't think he was really going to do some of the things that he's doing, including, trying to get rid of USAID or merge it under state or whatever it may be, they're seeing that he actually said he was going to do that. And this is going to have very, very dire consequences on not just people here in the United States, but people around the globe. And again, I just want to remind your viewers, Alex, that elections have consequences. And one thing about Donald Trump, again, is that when he says he's going to do something that sounds crazy and outlandish, he actually will do it. And we're seeing what the promises he made on the campaign trail actually coming to light now.
Even so, Carlos, very quickly, yes or no, does this all feel like overreach by Donald Trump?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of overreach all across the administration. And that's something that Donald Trump, as Adrian said, promised to do, to challenge existing norms, to do whatever he needs to do in order to advance his agenda. To be fair, this is not the first president to exceed his executive authority. The question is, what will Congress and the courts do? How will they handle it? We'll see when appropriators at some point who fund all these government programs decide to say enough is enough. If we have something in the budget, that means it's a priority for Congress and the American people. It has to go forward. At some point, that's going to happen.
Okay. Carlos and Adrian, it's good to see you both, my friends. Thank you much.